and welcome everybody back to WWE Women's Wrestling Entertainment. And as you can see, your girl Fun Size 2.0 is back after a bit of a hiatus. But as you can see, your girl's not alone. Her pops is in the building with her today. He
Hey.
took time out of his busy schedule today to come be with me, his firstborn loving daughter.
Yes, yes.
And yes, we got a lot of stuff going on today. And I mean, we're talking Raw, SmackDown coming up tonight, and the Money in the Bank pay per view this coming Sunday. Now, I don't know about you, but Money in the Bank's looking pretty hot right now, in my opinion. It is looking really, really good right now, in my opinion. I'm definitely pumped for Money in the Bank. I don't know about you, Dad, but I'm real excited for it.
Oh yeah, we got some good matchups on here.
Yeah, they do, and we will get later on to that later. But also along with this introduction that we have of my long-awaited return, I'm talking like I came back Undertaker style for real. Yeah, either
No
that,
doubt.
yeah, that way, and also today is the Long Island IC Zack Ryder's 35th birthday. He looks good for 35.
Yeah. Team Taurus in the building.
Yep.
Hey, it's all season.
Yep. Definitely happy birthday to the Raw Tag Team Champion, Zack Ryder. Hope your birthday is awesome, man. And, good luck with you and your partner, Kurt Hawkins, defending the Raw Tag Team titles. I support you guys 100%. So, moving on down to the Raw card. We all know that London, England is home to a lot of things, but they were home to Monday Night Raw for last night, and it started off with The Miz hosting Miz TV with the big dog Roman Reigns. Basically, I kind of know this, that Roman Reigns and The Miz both have a common enemy in Shane McMahon. Now, if you kind of go back to when the Superstar Shakeup was going on, now, I hate calling it a Superstar Shakeup. Why can't they just go back to calling it the draft? I liked it when they called it the draft. It was more fun to say, but they call it a Superstar Shakeup now. I'm not really mad at it. But either way, Roman Reigns was the biggest SmackDown superstar that they had lined up for it. But I kind of believe that for some reason Mr. McMahon thought Elias was the biggest acquisition to SmackDown, which that was totally false.
No.
But either way, I kind of think that Roman Reigns made a huge impact. And it's funny, as he was making his way down to the ring a couple of weeks ago during the Superstar Shakeup, he basically picked a fight with Elias, and then eventually, it's obviously easy to see. I think Elias pushed Mr. McMahon into Elias, which caused him to get Superman punched in the face. Or either he was just in the line of fire and Elias ducked. But either way, that's kind of how it was. That's how it was. And then Shane McMahon kind of took it lightly about last week, saying, what kind of man punches another man's father in the face? I'm thinking like, funny coming from you, Shane. You're the one that literally attacked Miz's own father at WrestleMania 35, let alone at Fastlane when they were in Cleveland. Like, come on, man. You're trying to make it go like long ways. Like, seriously, who does that?
Right.
And like, either way, basically the Miz and the big dog Roman Reigns have a common enemy in Shane McMahon, but the Miz TV interview was cut short due to the interference of Shane McMahon, the almighty Bobby Lashley, and Elias, which eventually interrupted into a giant tag team match, even though Miz and Roman Reigns were looking pretty good until Shane McMahon got a few licks in, resulting in a disqualification on, I believe it was probably Lashley and Elias's, heading towards their way. But either way, they eventually got beat down by both men. And either way, Elias is going to be facing Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, but we'll get to that a bit later on in the broadcast. And then Shane McMahon is also supposed to be facing The Miz too at Money in the Bank, and we'll get to those matches a bit later. Now, Mojo Rawley has been shooting a lot of vignettes of him in a mirror and saying, "Where were you?" Just talking to himself in a mirror like he kind of just lost his marbles just a bit. But the thing is, he showed his true self, if you will, at a live event, even though it wasn't taped on Monday night. But he did show his very aggressive side against Apollo Crews last night. Basically, Apollo tweaked his knee, and Raleigh took advantage. Now, we know Mojo Rawley used to be a hype bro. Then he was kind of a heel. Now he's just kind of gone off the deep end, like a bird flew the cuckoo's nest type deal.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, okay, man, like we get it. You're more aggressive now, and you found your true self. Just don't hurt me.
Right.
Like, I'm thinking like, okay, Mojo Rawley needs to just kind of be by himself. Nobody talk to Mojo because he's got problems or
Yeah,
something
he needs to
like
zen.
that.
He needs to zen.
I know that for one. And going on down the line now, if any of you guys saw WrestleMania 35 and either put your money on Ronda Rousey or Becky Lynch prevailing with both titles, if you bet on Ronda, I feel bad for you. I'm glad I didn't put any bets on that match. Now, if I did, I was kind of gonna go for either Becky or Ronda, but I would have probably put a little more on Becky Lynch, and I'm glad she won. I'm proud of Becky. I support the man 100%. And now the thing is that I believe this has probably never happened before, where a champion has defended his title twice in one night.
No, that's never happened before.
I cannot recall the last time that has happened, but this is a first for, I believe, the women, because Becky Lynch is supposed to be competing in not one match. She's competing in 2 matches literally in the same night against Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans is challenging Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship, while Charlotte is challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So Becky's got her hands full, and the contract was officially signed, or I believed it was, after a bit of war words between all 3 competitors. But let's just say I wouldn't say the man bit off more than she can chew, but by the end of the night, she got powerbombed through the contracting signing table by both of her opponents. And I'm thinking like, oh man, is Becky going to come up short? Is she going to be Becky 1 belt or Becky no belts by this Sunday? Like, I still want her to be Becky 2 belts.
Right.
That's my thing. Becky Lynch has fought and clawed her way to actually winning both championships. And it was a winner-take-all match at WrestleMania 35. And I'm not doubting Becky Lynch's abilities in the ring at all. But this match could probably be more than she can handle. She's faced Charlotte before and has come off of tons of wins against Charlotte. But Lacey Evans is another story. She's mostly been competing in NXT. This is her first major match competing on the main roster. And just think of how this will bruise her ego, actually losing to Becky Lynch in her first debut match. For real.
Yeah. So she got to come with it. She got to come with it or stay at home. Because this is for all the marbles right here.
Oh, yeah, big time. And then also Baron Corbin, former general manager-elect and former 2-time Money in the Bank winner in his own right, eventually took on the newcomer from NXT to Monday Night Raw, the one and only Ricochet. Now, Ricochet was putting up a good battle between Corbin, but eventually Corbin kind of got in Ricochet's head and pulled out a W against Ricochet. But here's the thing. Ricochet is all about the aerial high-flying maneuvers. So he's definitely one of the favorites heading into this Sunday's Money in the Bank ladder match. Because whenever there's a ladder involved, you think back to Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys. Now, the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian were known for being high flyers. Sure, the Dudleys would take a risk or 2 flying off the top rope, but they didn't do it often. No. They didn't do it as often as, Matt and Jeff and then Edge and Christian would.
Yeah.
But here's the skimmy of it. Now, he lost to Baron Corbin last night, but he's not taking this lying down. This is his opportunity to actually make his career even bigger than it already is. Everybody knows Ricochet's name. Everyone knows what he can do in the ring. He's a former NXT North American champion in his own right. So imagine him capturing the Money in the Bank briefcase in another huge pay-per-view environment. That'll be huge for him.
Yeah, that'll do great things for his career, too.
Mm-hmm. And a majority of all these Money in the Bank contract winners, some of them are competing in their first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. John Cena, for one, Randy Orton, for one.
Mm-hmm.
They have both won the Money in the Bank, even though they've only competed in that match once. And speaking of Randy Orton, we'll get to him later on in our SmackDown talk. He has won the Money in the Bank contract before in 2013. He's a former contract winner in his own right. So this is his second attempt actually going for the briefcase. So Orton could possibly pull out another win, but I'm getting ahead of myself before I go into any further. We'll talk more about Orton later on in the day. And also, the 4 women that will be representing Monday Night Raw are Alexa Bliss, Dana Brooke, Natalya, and Naomi. We're all competing in a Fatal 4-Way match to see who would gain momentum heading into the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. But eventually, Alexa Bliss, being the cunning and very tactical person that she is, but of course, she's from Ohio. We're very tactical people. But either way, she eventually convinced Nikki Cross to compete in the Fatal 4-Way match for her. Basically, sounds like Alexa Bliss is a bit scared to get her hands dirty.
Yeah, she's calling in some reinforcements.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go in there and you got to take care of that business yourself.
But you got to remember, the last time she had reinforcements, she eventually picked a bone with Nia Jax and ended up losing at the following WrestleMania. You got to remember that.
Right, yeah.
So, either way, Alexa Bliss did kind of play a good hand with picking Nikki Cross. Now, Nikki Cross is a very interesting competitor. She plays the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in her advantage when it comes to ring prowess. But either way, she gained Alexa Bliss momentum, even though Alexa Bliss didn't even get in the ring. But hey, that's Alexa Bliss for you. That's her. Then Rey Mysterio eventually has gone back-to-back wins heading into this Sunday's Money in the Bank ladder match and his rematch for the U.S. title when he came up short at WrestleMania 35 last month. So he gained momentum against Joe in a non-title contest last week on Monday Night Raw, and Joe was steaming mad. But then eventually in a backstage interview with Charlie Caruso, Cesaro ended up butting in with Mysterio's interview and eventually tried to trying to knock Rey off of his momentum pedestal, if you will.
Yeah.
And even try to attempt a Swiss Swan 9 to Rey Mysterio, even though Cesaro has done that in the past before, and that's impressive for a man that's his size.
Yeah.
To actually be able to pull that off.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, also with Rey Mysterio being the originator, basically Cesaro was just trying to get try to embarrass Mysterio with his own move, but come on, that's common in the WWE. Other guys using other dudes' moves to get the win, it's classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic thing of stealing and gimmick infringement.
Yeah, it's like they slapping them in the face while they win.
Yep, but Rey Mysterio pulled it off with the drop of the dime and dropping Cesaro, basically building momentum heading into this Sunday for that U.S. title. And Joe eventually had a little demo video saying, I'm going to teach your boy Dominic how to be a man. I feel like, wow, Joe's playing the kid card again? The last time he pulled that off was his rivalry with AJ Styles when he won the WWE title. And did he come out with the title that night? No.
No.
It just gave him, it basically just made AJ Styles more furious. Come on, you don't go after a man's family. That's the one rule that all guys and women should follow.
Yeah,
never
definitely.
target a person's family, because then you just stirred up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're digging a ditch that you don't want to be in.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
That's flat out. And then as we go on further along down the line, Bray Wyatt has showed the Firefly Funhouse, and let's just say it's a Pee Wee Herman knockoff with a very large man with braids talking to a buzzard, a puppet black bride, and a rabbit that just looks like it had a bear just sewn onto its, like it has a rabbit plastic head and then a bear body.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just weird.
Yeah.
And then Bray Wyatt eventually had some sort of secret, and showing his secret, I'm thinking like, okay, like that was majorly creepy.
Right.
And then before we go into our next break, I'm gonna get into this. Braun Strowman is out of the Money in the Bank ladder match after he was pronounced to be one of the participants. But Sami Zayn eventually got the win in a false count anywhere match, and eventually Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre teamed up on Braun to get him out of the match. Come on, guys. Have you not learned from people's past mistakes? When you cross a man like that, there are repercussions.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm telling you, they're probably going to learn this Sunday. And Sami Zayn's probably going to be the main target as well as Corbin and McIntyre.
Yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, that's just fuel to his fire now.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Look for some surprises on that one.
So before we go into our first break, Dad, how would you rate Raw on a scale from 1 to 10? And then I'll give you my rating.
I would have to rate it I would say a 6 overall from start to finish. You know, I mean, some of the matches, were, questionable because of the interference. But overall, I would give it a 6.
I'd probably give that like a 5.5. They could have done a lot better, especially, come on, with that ending result, really. You took out Braun Strowman, one of the other possible favorites to be involved in that match, seriously?
Yeah. So, I wasn't too happy, but,
Yeah, all right. So we'll be back. You guys are listening to the Next Generation of Sports Talk Radio, The Score on air, thescore.com, The Score. And welcome back, everybody, to the Next Generation of Sports Talk Radio, The Score on air, thescore.com, The Score. Fun Size 2.0 here, and as you can see, I'm with my dad today.
Hey.
We're talking about the one sport that we love to talk about, and that is WWE Wrestling. So, as we all know, SmackDown is live tonight at 8/7 Central at the O2 in London, England. So, basically, Raw and SmackDown are still invading the UK. So, that's going to be one good old show, or a jolly good show, as they would say in the United Kingdom. So we all know that SmackDown will be live from London, England, and we got some huge matches heading into Money in the Bank this Sunday. Now, as we all know, all 4 of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match participants on the SmackDown side will be competing in a fatal 4-way match to see which man will gain momentum heading into this Sunday. We have Finn Balor versus Ali versus Randy Orton versus Andrade. Now, I'm going to be frank with you, Dad. Now, Ali used to be Mustafa Ali, and then Andrade used to be Andrade Celine Almas. Why do they cut these guys' names short? Why do they do that? Their names were so awesome before. Now they just ruined it. I'm thinking, like, come on.
probably too long to say. That's so they got to shorten it up.
Okay, Mustafa Ali was not hard to say.
No.
But I think they're doing that to kind of just, with the racial thing, maybe with the Eastern countries or something. I really don't know. That's up in the air. That's kind of my opinion. But Andrade Celine Amos, yes, that was a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, that was long.
But still, I like the pronunciation of the name. I hate Andrade as like a heel, but I enjoyed his name. I enjoyed saying that.
Yeah.
But either way, who do you think out of these four men will probably gain the most momentum or will probably outshine the rest of the men that are in the Money in the Bank ladder match itself?
I don't know. I'm looking for a surprise, honestly. So I mean, between Andrade and Mustafa, with them being relatively new, I'm looking for a surprise in here. I mean, you got your usual suspects with Randy Orton and the other
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. So you got your usual suspects. So I'm looking for a changing of the guards this Sunday. So I'm looking for something new.
All right, so you're going with the Young Guns. But the thing is, Finn Balor, this is also his first time competing in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
He's another wild card just a bit being involved in this match. So you got to remember there are at least 3 high flyers in this match. Randy Orton is not known for high flying.
Right.
And we got our first comment from Christopher Brown. He said, giving that the expected men's Money in the Bank ladder match winner is going to be McIntyre, the only other guy who could possibly look at for a surprise is Ali. There you go.
Yeah,
He
that's what I
agreed
said.
with you. He agreed with Ali would give you, that. Now, I would have to disagree on the Drew McIntyre part. I understand he's a very gifted athlete, but you got to understand, you got several high flyers involved in this match. Any of them could really win the case, but Drew McIntyre could possibly win it because majority of one of my favorites is out, and I'm mad. But I'm rooting either for Ricochet, Finn Balor, or Ali for that matter. So I'm going with either one of those. But if you're right, Christopher Brown, then I'll probably discuss that next Tuesday. And I'm saying yep, he was right.
Yep.
Then also, Kofi Kingston has been a target of attack by Kevin Owens, basically going after Kevin Owens' only New Day member, Xavier Woods. Just countless attacks on Xavier Woods, messing up his back and everything. But Kofi Kingston's no punk. He earned that championship for a reason. He won that championship after 11 years, barely even able to touch it, and actually has it now. And Kevin Owens clearly wants to ruin Kingston's momentum, but Kevin Owens is a very cunning Canadian man, a very large Canadian man, for that matter.
Well,
But
Kofi done put in that work though. He done perfected his craft, and he done put in that work. So I don't see him giving it up that easy.
He has. And also, Kevin Owens has decided to invite the WWE Championship onto his talk show, the Kevin Owens Shows. The thing is, Kofi Kingston has yet to accept. But the thing is, it could be a trap. So Kofi Kingston's got to use his championship intellect to eventually gain momentum against Kevin Owens. The last time Kevin Owens eventually kind of got one up on a championship was when he first debuted against John Cena.
Right.
So Kevin Owens is, he's no punk either. But either way, Kofi Kingston's not going to give up that title without a fight. After all, he defended it last Tuesday against AJ Styles and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, who is now a part of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So you got to understand, Kofi Kingston may have his back against the wall and a huge target on his back, but he's not going to back down from no fight.
No, he not at all. Like I said, he done put in that body of work. He done took his bumps and bruises, and I don't see him giving it up that easy.
Definitely. I'm pulling for Kingston all the way, baby.
Oh, yeah.
And now, now you're probably going to be interested in this. I know you're not into women drama, Dad, but this is, I wouldn't call it women drama, more like tag team management drama. Okay. So, technically, it's not drama for your mama.
All right.
But here's the thing. So, former Absolution members Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are now known as Fire and Desire. the thing is, Paige used to manage both of them before she retired due to her neck being injured.
Right.
Now she comes back as the SmackDown Live general manager at first, but then eventually was let go by Shane McMahon. Now she manages the very cunning team of the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, and the Pirate Princess, Kairi Sane. Now, tonight, both of these women, the Empress and the Pirate Princess, will be going up against Paige's former associates, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Now, Asuka and Kairi Sane are a very well-oiled unit, and seeing them compete last week, I think Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are in trouble.
No.
I believe that because Asuka, remember, she went undefeated for at least a year or so, like 2 decades. That's how long her streak was, like 200, maybe 56 wins, and then she had her first loss at WrestleMania.
Right.
So you kind of got to understand that even after her loss, Asuka's still, a force to be reckoned with. And with now the women having tag team championships now, I think that Kairi Sane and Asuka could actually be a very formidable opponents against the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce.
Yeah.
So the Aussies are going to have to go against the Japanese in this one.
Yeah.
A very unique contest.
Yeah, so it should be very interesting tonight. Yeah.
Let's see what Christopher Brown has to say about this. He says, and as for this week's taping, the Sky Pirates name for Asuka and Kairi Sane's been changed. So they changed the name, so now they're called the Sky Pirates?
Oh, wow.
What?
Wow.
Well, thank you for that tip. And also, let's see. He says, backstage promo by Paige, Ember, Kairi, Asuka are out. Flanked by Paige. They're up against Mandy and Sonya. Paige's promo, the Iconics are here to provide commentary. I'm sure that's all.
Yeah,
Paige,
sure.
Yeah. Paige says Asuka and Sane are now known as the Kabuki Warriors. So, yep, there you go.
Oh, wow.
That's a thing now. Asuka rolled up Mandy. The Kabuki Warriors win, prevailing by the renamed of the Kabuki Experience next week. Yeah, well, WWE throws out the most weirdest tag team names out there, so you could be right about that, but I'm not certain. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, okay, the Sky Pirates actually sound cool, but really? The Kabuki Warriors, though?
Yeah, that sounds like that needs a little work.
Yeah, it so definitely does. And also, Heavy Machinery, a very formidable tag team that was known in NXT. Basically, we're eyeing Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan's newly won tag team championships. Now, Heavy Machinery really hasn't had a lot of tag team opportunities as of late. But really having Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan being tag team champions, something like, oh, great. Now they're going to change the tag team title to some burlap sack hippie art project now.
Right.
It was worse with the WWE title. We don't need the tag team titles changing on us now. If they do that, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to literally probably go up to Connecticut and ship myself up there and say, what are you doing?
Yeah, definitely. Come on now.
You're ruining the prestigious of these titles.
Yeah.
Why are you letting Daniel Bryan do this?
Right.
Seriously. He's calling them the Planets Tag Team Championships already. Be like, oh man, I'm gonna cry now.
No.
Like, I want to just sit in the corner and ball up into a ball and just cry because Daniel Bryan's gonna ruin the tag team championships. It ain't right, man.
Gonna have to send him an email or something.
Yeah, to go like, Daniel Bryan, stop being eco-friendly, you tree hugger. But again, he's vegan, but either way, you don't have to transition your lifestyle onto us, Daniel. Everyone chooses what they want to eat.
Yeah. Don't force your religion over here, Daniel. We good.
No. And then what are your thoughts on tonight's show, Father?
I think it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be some interesting matchups. I'm interested in seeing the Empress and the Princess get it on tonight. I'm really trying to get into the women's phase of the wrestling. So, I have my favorites. So it should be real interesting tonight. So I'm interested in that matchup right there. The Empress and the Princess going in there taking care of their business.
Mhm.
Because I am, I do like Oscar. She going there and she been taking care of her business for quite some time. So not too keen on the Princess yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup tonight.
All right, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the women's tag team match. You got former associates of Paige versus the new clients, so let's see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, we're going to be taking another break. Remember, guys, you listen to Next Generation of Sports Talk Radio, Score and Air, score.com, the score. And welcome back, everybody, to the next generation of sports talk radio. Score on air, score.com, the score, Fun Size 2.0 here, and my lovely father with us still.
Hey.
We are still with y'all, like we said. And it is obviously Money in the Bank season, guys. And we're talking about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that is coming up this Sunday. And for all of you guys and girls that don't have the WWE Network, sign up today because you get Money in the Bank for free. Your first month free, and includes Money in the Bank. So you better cash in on that now, because we know some superstars will be cashing in on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So let's get on to the match-up line up for Money in the Bank. Now, obviously, we're starting off with the man, Becky Lynch, who is now still known right now as Becky Two Belts. Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch, in her long rivalry with Charlotte Flair, turned basically bestie turned rival, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair will be competing for the SmackDown Women's title at Money in the Bank this coming Sunday. And we all know the history between these two women. They started out as teammates, then kind of turned into a bit of rivals, then made up as friends. And then eventually Becky stabs Charlotte in the back, and then, it just goes downhill from there. Female drama.
Mm-hmm. Just drama.
Just drama. But either way, Charlotte basically won the right to face Becky Lynch at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view by beating Bayley about 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? In a number one contenders match to determine who would face Becky Lynch at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte won. And now, basically, their rivalry is being renewed. So, either way, Becky Lynch has proved to be a fighting champion, and she can back it up with the best of them. And Charlotte has I haven't really seen her compete, except for that one time against Bayley, but that was about it. All Charlotte does is talk the talk, and sure, she does the Ric Flair walk because she's his daughter, but either way, Charlotte has a bit of momentum on her side after powerbombing Becky through a table, but let's see how tonight on SmackDown rolls along. Because, the man never forgives and the man never forgets.
And Charlotte, she has to come with it. I mean, this more so this matchup for Money in the Bank against her and Becky Lynch. She gotta. This is her redemption period because she done fell off what we like to call fall off. And just trying to just sort of fade it into the background. So this Money in the Bank matchup between her and Becky, she got to get some redemption to, get her feet back solid because, she's just been fading in the background. And then Becky Lynch wins. It's going to be a long walk back to glory for Charlotte. So she's going to have to come with it.
Yeah, and the thing is that Charlotte's been trying to demand getting a match ever since Mr. McMahon put her in that WrestleMania, made it a WrestleMania match and made it a triple threat match, and basically saying she demands to get a rematch. I think, remember, they don't give free matches anymore. There's no automatic rematch clauses no more.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
You got to earn it. You got to claw and scratch and do all that jazz, especially with this being a championship match. Charlotte has stated before that you have everything to lose and I have nothing to lose. So, sure, Charlotte can talk the talk, but come on. When it came to the title on the line the last time, she came up short.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the man has the queen's number, if you will.
Exactly.
Now, this next match, I'm real excited to see. I don't care who wins. I just want to see how this match goes. You have the phenomenal one, AJ Styles versus the now proclaimed Beast Slayer, Seth Rollins, for the Universal title. Now, this match, I'm happy that this match is happening. I've wanted to see AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins so bad, and now we get to see it.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I want Rollins to retain, but I also want Styles to win. Like I said, I can't pick who's going to win. I just want to see how the match goes and which man comes out on top with that title.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say because I'm excited for this match.
Yeah, and I mean these two extraordinary wrestlers. I mean, I can't even decide who gonna win between AJ and Seth. I mean,
Hard
I
contest.
just know it's gonna be a great match, and I can't wait to see that one. I'm more so leaning towards AJ Styles in my gut, but you know Seth will come out his bag, so I can't put nothing past Seth. So we're gonna have to definitely. I'm gonna have to definitely be tuned in so I can glue to the tube to see who come out on top in this one. Because right now, you know, it's a 50-50 split between them both. So
yeah, I gotta agree with that. Both men are both tremendous athletes, both a part of major factions. The club for AJ, and then the Shield with Seth Rollins. So, Seth Rollins has been WWE champion before, and same with AJ. So both men have championship credentials.
Yeah.
So besides all the championships, they're gonna see what it takes to go in the ring. And either way, AJ has kind of lit the fire in Seth Rollins. So, but either way, either Seth's gonna burn it down or Styles is gonna deliver a phenomenal forearm to the Beast Slayer.
Yeah.
Either way, I can't really pick between those two.
Yeah.
Either way. Now, this one, I already know who's going to win. My boy, Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship. Now, Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship back in April at WrestleMania, probably the hugest crowd that has been at WrestleMania ever, and everybody was behind Kofi Kingston, even the announcers and myself. I was behind Kofi Kingston the entire way, and I was finally happy to be like, he made it.
Yeah.
My boy made it.
Yeah, definitely. You know,
he did it.
It's been a long road for Kofi.
Yeah, and now Kevin Owens basically wants to kind of ruin Kingston's dream run, if you will.
Yeah.
His Cinderella championship story. Kevin Owens has played tactics by basically goading Kingston and Xavier Woods and and letting him join the New Day. I would say it was smart. It was smart on Kevin Owens' part, but still shady. And attack Xavier Woods at least twice last week and basically basically the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Before today. And now with SmackDown coming up tonight, we have Kofi Kingston basically trying to accept Kevin Owens' invitation to come on the Kevin Owens show.
Right.
So either way, it all comes really down to tonight. If Kofi accepts, he better come out swinging against Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he just got to be on his guard because, I mean, with they supposed to match up Sunday. It may not, be all just, smiles and giggles, So Kofi got to watch himself. He can, Kevin Owens can come out his bag on him and drop something on him that'll handicap him for Sunday. So, Kofi, stay on your square, man.
Yeah, Kofi's got to have his head on a swivel, especially with Kevin Owens. And also, later on, we'll be talking about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So that's another thing, but we'll get later on to that later. But really, I want my boy Kofi to come out on top.
Yeah. I'm rocking with Kofi Kingston all the way.
All the way. And then next is the big dog, Roman Reigns, against the musical maestro, as he calls himself, that darn hippie Elias.
Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, I already know this hands down. Roman Reigns is going to kick Elias's guitar tuning butt.
Yeah. I'm just, with this matchup right here, I'm just want to know, I just have to be aware of those who going to come on the ring side, who going to come down there and sneak down there, because Roman Reigns, he been taking care of business, but he done picked up some enemies along the way, so he may have some, Elias may have built some alliances with some people. So Roman Reigns, you got to keep your head on the swivel too, because this is not a easy as pie type of matchup with Elias. So definitely keep your head on the swivel. And I think Roman Reigns going to come out on top, but I don't think it's going to be easy as we all think it's going to be for Roman.
But you got to think, Roman Reigns has been a former tag team champion, WWE champion, Intercontinental champion, United States champion.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, Elias has yet to even win a title.
Right.
Where are your championship credentials at, Elias?
Yeah.
The only thing you have to use is a guitar and a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, and you call yourself an athlete and you want to be like a music star? Dude, wrestling is not the place for you. The Honky Tonk Man did it, but he was successful.
Yeah.
You, my brother, cannot succeed like that. Especially against a man that battled leukemia for 11 years.
Yeah. So
You
he's
can't
a
compete with that.
natural-born fighter.
Yeah. So I'm going with my boy Roman Reigns.
Yeah, me too. That makes 2 for the Roman.
Yep. 2 for the big dog. Okay. Miz versus Shane McMahon, but not no regular match. Gonna be inside a 15-foot high steel cage. Now, finally, they're bringing a steel cage match back.
Yeah, definitely. About time. Let's give a round of applause
someone
for that.
had the gall to make this match, and I'm so happy.
Yep.
Now, here is the skimmy between these 2 men. The Miz wanted to be a tag team champion to make his dad proud of him after coming up short during the Best in the World tournament at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And basically kind of begged and pleaded with Shane McMahon to tag with him.
Mm-hmm.
They were a bit of strange bedfellows at first, but they won the tag team championship regardless.
Right.
And then later on, they end up losing in Miz's hometown of Cleveland.
Right.
Then the Miz was a bit upset. Next thing you know, Shane turns on him, basically puts his hands on a man's father who was trying to enjoy the show.
Mm-hmm.
Then it resulted in the match at WrestleMania. And then the Miz's father gets in the ring with Shane McMahon, and Shane McMahon punches him again.
Right.
Then it all boils down to where Miz was drafted to Raw, chased after Shane McMahon with a steel chair. Several weeks followed, same result. And now we are here at Money in the Bank to finally maybe see this rivalry go to rest or keep going.
Right.
Now, Shane McMahon has been in matches before. If you go back and look at the WWE Network, Shane McMahon was a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean every sense of the word. He would dive off of anything that was high.
Right.
And miraculously, he survived all that.
Yeah.
Which is impressive.
Yeah.
Now, the last time Shane McMahon probably competed in a steel cage environment was in 2006 at Unforgiven with his father, The Big Show, facing off against his now brother-in-law, well, still brother-in-law, Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Right.
D-Generation X at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall Shane McMahon being in any other steel cage environment only at that time.
Yeah, neither do I.
So, Shane is not rusty in the slightest. He can still compete with all the young guys that are still in the locker room.
Right.
But when you have a man where you put your hands on his father, and you're the one that says, what kind of man puts their hands on another man's father?
Yeah, that's
Have
playing
you
with
forgotten?
gasoline right there.
Have you forgotten how many men have put their hands on your father before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Vince McMahon has gone through the ringer with several men beating him down. The one that beat him down the most was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
The Rock bottomed him. He got a mandible claw from Mankind and even got choke slammed and tombstoned by The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon has been through the ringer. And yet now you're bringing up that particular phrase? What is wrong with you? Oh, man. But despite my ranting, I'm going with Miz because Miz literally has been in steel cage matches before. So either way,
Yeah, he does.
I'm
have an
pulling
advantage.
for Miz.
Yeah, he does have an advantage. Yeah, and I like the Miz in this one too. Steel cage match, his experience, the way he wrestles, So Shane, if Shane gonna win this one, he got his work cut out for him because the Miz ain't about to give it up easy. I can tell you that right now. The way that man wrestles, I mean, he's all in, 10 toes down. So Shane, if you trying to win this one, you better come with your E game, not your A game, your E game, because the Miz is not about to take no shorts, no losses in this one.
And then we got a new guy joining us. Hello, Mike Riggs. Thank you for joining us here on WWE Women's Wrestling Entertainment so much. And Christopher Brown also commented saying, giving that all the interactions with Elias, Shane McMahon, and the B team, and Roman Reigns and the Miz, I expect this match to end in a DQ with all hell breaking loose. It could happen.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on. This is the WWE. Really, almost anything can happen. Even if it's not planned, it happens.
Yeah, that's what I say. You got to watch out for those surprises.
All right. Next. The man is on this list twice. And you want to know why? Because she's competing twice. She's competing twice because she's Becky Two Belts. But this time she's facing against the sassy Southern Belle, Lacey Evans. Now, the thing is, the rivalry technically started when Lacey Evans just basically socked Lynch with a woman's right out of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
And just seeing the impact in slow motion connecting with Lynch's jaw, I'm thinking like, what? And I thought Nia dislocating her face was bad. And that was bad.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
Yeah. Anything dislocated is bad.
Yeah, it really was. And Albert, thank you for welcoming me back, man. I missed you so much, man. And he's saying I got backup. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I got backup with me.
That's
and
right.
Hello, Ralph Wells. Hello. And either way, I really think that despite Lacey Evans' cheap shots, and I have seen her compete in the ring because she did call out all 4 women that would be competing in the Money in the Bank ladder match this coming Sunday to watch her compete. Now, the thing is, it was against a locals competitor, so someone that no one really knows except the people that were in the city.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna critique about this. Local competitors, you have your big stars that you know are stars. Start out with local competitors. Why is that? That I don't get.
Yeah, they gotta get they wins up. You gotta have so many matches up under your belt before you can transition to the superstar level. Because they not gonna, you just not gonna come in there and be 0-50 and then expect somebody to pick you up. Either SmackDown, Raw, NXT. They're not going to pick you up. You have to go in there and take those matches, because it's all transition. You go from high school to college, then you go to semi-pro, and then you transition to the superstar level. So that's why they have those local matches to try to get what we call get your weight up, because if ain't nobody heard of you and you ain't got no W's up under your belt, then we don't know what your credentials is, and nobody wants to see a boring match.
True. Okay. Thank you for enlightening me with that, Dad. Now, I found this funny. Got him going off topic, going left a bit. When Mark Henry came back from injury, he faced off against now Raw and SmackDown commentator Corey Graves. Now, Corey Graves now. He's got his tufted hair. He's got his tattoos. Now, this was back in, I believe, either 2005, 2006. I'm thinking, like, when I was looking back at all the old SmackDown videos that are on the WWE Network, I'm thinking, like, oh, my gosh, that's Corey Graves. And he faced off against Mark Henry, and he still wanted to be a wrestler? Man. Like, okay. I had to give him props for that one, but either way, I'm thinking, like, Okay.
Yeah, you gotta pick your matches carefully. Now, you
Mhm.
don't want to your first match. You don't want to go in there and then you get your arm broke, your leg broke, and then your jaw dislocated and all that, because it's gonna take you some months to recover. So just choose your matches carefully for you up and coming wrestlers. You don't want to go in that first match up and get broke up.
Oh yeah, big time. But either way, with Money in the Bank coming up this Sunday, Becky Lynch, like I said, she's got her hands full. She's competing twice because she's got 2 belts on her.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, Lacey Evans has really never faced anybody quite like Becky Lynch.
Right.
So Lynch is unpredictable. You got to
Mhm.
understand that.
Mhm.
And Lacey Evans, she's very impressive, but come on, she's diving head first in with a red-headed shark.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Now the only advantage Lacey may have if Becky Lynch get beat up really bad by Charlotte, she may have a slight advantage going into that matchup, depending on who wrestles who first.
mhm,
So she may have a slight advantage if Becky Lynch get beat up bad by Charlotte, whether she win or lose.
right, right.
So
Mhm,
that's 1 point for Lacey.
mhm,
However, with Becky Lynch having this experience under her belt and her being just a monster in the ring, hey, Lacey may get in there and get spanked. Maybe like one of them 5-minute matches and it's over with. So
mhm. Yeah.
so she better she's got to come with it. But I don't see Becky losing against Lacey
Mm-mm.
Evans.
Not in the slightest.
No,
I
I
agree
don't see that at
100%.
all.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely. So we're going for the man for both matches, Dad.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
actually, I'm more so leaning towards Charlotte in the Becky Lynch Charlotte matchup.
mhm,
Only because it like I said, this is Charlotte's redemption period.
mhm,
And then I mean, if Becky Lynch go from Becky 2 belts to Becky 1 belt, it's all good. But if she able to pull it off and come out with both of those belts, that's gonna be even awesome on her end. But
mhm,
I'm pulling for Charlotte on there. To, get her some redemption because she has been down in the mucks, and this would be a way for her to get back, climb back up to that superstar status. But and on the flip side of that, if she lose against Becky Lynch, it may be a long road back to glory for her. So.
True fact. True fact. Now, also, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, this would be the third women's Money in the Bank ladder match that WWE has produced. I could
Mm-hmm.
be wrong. I'm going to have to go back and do my research so I'll make sure I'm doing this right.
Mm-hmm.
So, here are the women that will be competing for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. You have the War Goddess Ember Moon, Naomi, Dana Brooke, Alexa Bliss, the Huggable One Bailey, Queen of Hearts Natalia, Mela is Money herself, Carmella, who's the first ever woman to win the Money in the Bank ladder match contract.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the Golden Goddess, Mandy Rose. So, out of all of these women, now, well, actually, both Alexa Bliss and Carmella are former Money in the Bank ladder match winners.
Mm-hmm.
So, those 2 women have experience competing in this type of match. Naomi has competed in this match before, but she came up short. And same with Natalia. Now, Bailey, Ember Moon, and Mandy Rose. Those 3. Oh, and Dana Brooke, Ember Moon, Bailey, and Mandy Rose. All 4 of those women, I feel, might be out of their comfort zone. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that you wouldn't really think that a woman could possibly fall on a ladder and expect it to be light,
Right.
and it's not.
No, not at all.
That's like back injury bad.
Yeah.
But only Naomi, Natalia, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella have competed in these matches before. So they have the most experience, with Alexa Bliss and Carmella also winning the Money in the Bank ladder match briefcases in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you think out of these 8 women would probably come out up top? I'll get your opinion first, and I'll put my 2 cents in.
I'm leaning towards I would have to say Mandy Rose. I'm just gonna go on a long shot with Mandy Rose because I mean the other women all have experience, including Alexa Bliss and Natalia and Carmella were already competing in the Money in the Bank match.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to I'm gonna go for Mandy Rose just to to shake things up. And I think that she has a good chance because with the other ladies, they're more so going to be going at each other's necks. So she can slide in there, and take a couple of them out to be able to keep the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going with Mandy Rose on that.
So you're going with the Golden Goddess on this one. Now, as much probably I would hate to say it, I would probably have to either go with one of these 3. Either I'm going with Alexa Bliss, Carmella, or Bayley, possibly gaining her first women's Money in the Bank contract.
Yeah,
now, you got to remember, Bayley has put on some great matches, especially going back when their NXT days with Sasha Banks. They were competed in the first ever women's Iron Man match, and that tore down the house completely.
Yeah.
And with her, her championship credentials, just thinking about having that briefcase would shoot her career into the stratosphere.
Oh, yeah.
And she deserves to have a push. She was the first woman, along with Sasha Banks, to actually win the custom-made women's tag team championships. Now, adding that she can go after either champion she wants. Since she's on SmackDown, she could possibly go after Becky Lynch if she ends up retaining one of her titles.
Right.
So it could go either way. I would probably go for Bayley, but like I said, I'm going for those 3 that I just mentioned. Bliss, Mella, and Bayley. One of those 3 women. I want to see a newcomer that has been in this match probably go for the case, but as we all know, it's up in the air when it comes to a ladder match that's intense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to come down to those that can outlast the others. So we will see.
Indeed, we will. Now, moving on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, this match has gone on for the longest. Actually, I was doing a quiz on WWE's Instagram page. Turns out the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match happened in 2005.
Whoa.
And that's how long ago it was. And Edge won the first ever Money in the Bank briefcase.
Cheese smoke.
Yep. The Rated R Superstar, who's now retired, won the first ever contract.
Wow.
So, and then moving on to future winners, Braun Strowman won last year's Money in the Bank contract.
Yeah.
And he's no longer in this contest, and I'm so mad. I'm like Braun Strowman roar mad. That's how mad I am.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you bring him back? I mean, he should have had a automatic clause by him being the winner of the last Money in the Bank.
Again, you gotta earn opportunities now. They don't give them out no more. They don't do handouts no more.
Yeah, you gotta earn it. So yep.
All right. So let's see what 8 men will be thrown into this lion's den, the human demolition derby that is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You have the one and only Ricochet, the Viper Randy Orton, who is a former Money in the Bank contract winner in his own right.
Right.
Finn Balor, who is going in this contest as the Intercontinental Champion. So if he ends up winning this, he could either be the WWE Champion or the Universal Champion, and actually be the second man in history to possibly hold 2 different titles at once.
Right.
Seth Rollins was the first, combining with the WWE Championship and the United States Championship at the same time, which has never been done.
Right.
So Balor could possibly be the second.
Right.
Ali, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Andrade, and Sami Zayn. I said that with very, very less sympathy. I hope Sami Zayn gets destroyed so bad. He snuck in that match and stole it from Braun. I am so irritated right now.
See?
It's not funny.
See?
Now, as I mentioned before, well, actually, Baron Corbin is also a former Money in the Bank ladder match winner. So, again, the men and the women both have former Money in the Bank contract winners in these matches.
Right.
So, I really don't want Corbin to win. I don't want Zayn to win. I don't want Drew to win. I'm either pulling for Ricochet, Orton, Balor, or Ali.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say between
or Andrade. I don't want
Ricochet
Andrade to win
and
either.
Randy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, between those two, I like one of them to win it. More so Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the new age, I like to see him and his high flying acrobatics go ahead and win it in style. But I wouldn't be mad if Randy Orton won it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm either definitely just those four that I mentioned. I want either four of them to win. I don't want McIntyre, Corbin, Andrade, or Zayn to win.
And we agree on that.
Yes, so much. Then next is the U.S. title match between the Samoan Submission Machine, Samoa Joe, and the master of the 619, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Now, Rey came up short of WrestleMania 35, and you can kind of tell because he was trying to attempt a flip, but eventually he fell back, and Joe capitalized.
Yeah.
And Rey has momentum on his side heading into this Sunday. So, either way, I'm pulling for my boy Ray.
Yeah, I'm going Ray all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At 619, I'm trying to learn how to do that. So, Ray, if you got some time, holler at you guy.
Okay. Now, since we already named the matches and kind of chosen our winners per se, we're going to go down the list and name each winner of each of the matches that we think who will come out on top. So, Dad, since you're my guest, you get to go first.
All right. For the women's SmackDown title, I think Charlotte Flair is gonna win that one.
Okay.
For the Universal title, I think AJ Styles is gonna win that one. For the WWE Championship, I think Kofi Kingston is gonna win that one.
No.
Roman Reigns versus Elias, I think Roman Reigns is gonna win that one.
Mm-hmm.
The steel cage match, I gotta go with my guy The Miz on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's title. I got to go with Becky on that one. Now, for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
You have to choose one.
All right, I'm still going with Mandy Rose on that one.
Okay.
For the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I'm going with Ricochet on that one.
Changed it up.
Yeah. And then for the U.S. title, Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio, I'm going with Rey Mysterio on that one.
All right. So those are your predictions, Daddy, for the Sunday. So here are
yeah.
mine. Mine are going to be a bit different than yours. So for the SmackDown Women's Championship match, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm going with my girl, Becky Lynch. I'm going to go with Becky. Come on. She's got Charlotte's number. You got to remember that. They literally trained with each other. They've fought each other before. So you got to remember, Lynch knows Charlotte just as well as Charlotte knows Becky. So you got to understand, Becky knows what Charlotte might do before Charlotte even pulls it out. So I'm going with my girl, Becky Lynch. Then the Universal title match between AJ Styles and Seth Rollins is a hard choice, but I'm going with the Beast Slayer, Seth Rollins.
What?
Because come on, Seth Rollins has been the architect of the Shield before AJ Styles even stepped foot in the WWE. Seth Rollins has fought the likes of Sting, Triple H, John Cena, even his own Shield brothers. So you gotta understand, and he even fought against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
How many people can say that? Well, a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot.
but Seth Rollins lived to tell the tale. So I'm going with Seth Rollins, and he's going to burn down the Phenomenal One.
Ooh, we will see.
I agree with you on this one. Going with my boy Kofi Kingston. Kofi worked too dang hard to lose that title to a chubby Canadian boy.
Right.
Going with my boy Roman Reigns. I got from a personal standpoint, I know what it's like to battle an illness from, with Roman Reigns going through leukemia for 11 years and then me going through my cancer treatment. I understand Roman Reigns on probably a better level than his own family. So, I know that. I'm going with my boy Roman Reigns. Going with the big dog, baby. The Miz and Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon, you are good but not cunning enough. Going with my boy The Miz. Especially when you're confined in a steel cage and Miz is mad as all get out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Miz, beat him down. And again, I'm going with Becky Lynch for the Raw title. Becky Two Belts must stay alive. And then, like I said before, I would say I want a newcomer going. I'm going with my girl Bayley. She deserves her push.
Okay.
And then the men's ladder match. So many worthy contenders. But I got to go with, I would say, Finn Balor. Finn Balor's, he's done a lot. He's shown a lot of prowess. And the thing is, he's never regained the Universal Championship. He had to basically give it up after he injured himself. So, if Finn wins this, he will eventually go after whoever is the Universal Championship either during that night or the night after.
Right.
So, either way, I'm going with the extraordinary man that can do unextraordinary things, Finn Balor. And then the United States Championship match. I'm going with my boy Rey Mysterio. I believe he has won the U.S. Championship before, but if he has, it's a long time coming for Mysterio.
Yeah.
Definitely. So those are our wins and predictions, and definitely, I'm really pumped to see Money in the Bank now.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
I just got to pay my $9.99 a month again.
Yeah.
Because I'm so low on it. But either way, those are our predictions for Money in the Bank. And as going forward with WWE is concerned, we are going to be talking about none other than the chairman of the board, Mr. McMahon. So this was recorded by Variety, saying how Vince McMahon's WWE seized on TV distribution to become a Wall Street champion. So this is an article basically saying, and I'm reading this from the actual article, it's kind of a comeback that would make a perfect underdog requires hates storyline in the ring for World Wrestling Entertainment. The company that embodies modern professional wrestling or sports entertainment, as coined by CEO Vincent Kennedy McMahon, has been growing on a rampage during the past 18 months. Its stock price has more than doubled as the company, once seen on Wall Street as past its prime, has found itself with the right assets at the right moment to capitalize on a massive distribution in the traditional TV business. The WWE has profited last year by a huge 5-year, $1 billion deal with Fox Corp that will bring its live SmackDown franchise to the Big Four broadcasting network for the first time in WWE's nearly 40-year history. Whoa!
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah, that is.
The pact was richer by hundreds of millions of dollars than the WWE's most bullish supporters expected, and a stunning example of newfangled Fox network's hunger for high wattage live performing. And there is some truth to this, that Fox wants to puts WWE SmackDown on Fox, but the thing is, they want Mr. McMahon to actually have more edgier content. Now, I'm not mad at him for doing that.
Right.
The thing is, we're in a day and age where kids understand about wardrobe malfunctions, blood, violence, if you will. There's video games that are like that. Take example for Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
Kids still play that.
Fortnite.
Yes, Fortnite. Well, that's not as violent. Like, not like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Not like, it's more like that. And a lot of fans me included,
Mm-hmm.
would like to have the TV 14 rating
Right.
on
Okay.
WWE programming
Right.
because they have to understand that there are shows that aren't even sports related that have that rating, like
Mm-hmm.
The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad. It's all cartoon adult humor, but
Right.
yet kids still watch it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But they have to understand kids are, they have brains like a sponge. They'll absorb anything that's put in front of them.
Exactly.
And if they're watching WWE and see that, oh, it's childish, it's fun, it's colorful, you see the guys beating up on each other, but where's the raw emotion? Where's the passion? Where's the blood? Where's the conniving evilness that kind of surrounded sports entertainment, kind of like, 80s, early 90s, heading into the 2000s type
Yeah.
grittiness.
When you used to see the head split open, blood leaking.
You can
No,
see, you can
arms
literally
broke.
see the cuts right on the head, and it dripping down their faces, and you
Right.
can tell it dried up because it's just on their face.
Yeah, wasn't no camera tricks. This
no,
was all
no,
real.
it's all real. Grinding up on the cages and people flying off cells and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We thank Mick Foley for that.
Yep.
We definitely can thank Mick Foley for that. Either way, it's understandable that Fox wants a lot of raunchy, not really raunchy, but, just more edgier content for
Mhm.
the viewers because when you think about it, Fox is a huge company.
Yeah.
So it's understandable that they want their audience, especially with WWE being a partner with them,
Mm-hmm.
want them to expand
Mhm.
more than what they're putting out there.
Yeah.
Like, sure, they have John Cena being the babyface. That's understandable.
Mhm.
But when you look back at it, Vince wanted him to be like a Vanilla Ice Eminem wannabe, and that worked for him, and people ate it up.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind seeing it back.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it when they brought it back. They brought it back in 2012 when he had his rivalry with The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Then he came back wearing Babe Ruth's jersey against Elias at WrestleMania 35.
Right.
And I was ecstatic by it, and I loved it. It just burned Elias left and right. I'm thinking like, okay, I
Mhm.
miss this. Bring this man back.
Yeah. Yeah, just don't take if you're gonna spruce it up, just don't take the originality away from it, Just keep it original, how the WWF transformed into the WWE and it still stayed along the same lines of authentic athletic competition and really gridiron wrestling. Don't change that aspect of it. You can do all the colorful stuff around it if you want to, but keep just as long as you keep the authentic essence of the wrestling together. I'm pretty sure McMahon and Fox will work out some kind of compromise in which they'll be able to work together, even if they got to put it on at a later time. Maybe you can't show it at 7, you got to show it at 8. They'll be able to work something out. Just don't lose the essence of what's been going on for so many generations and decades, and don't water it down. Don't water it down.
Yeah, that's another thing too. And now with the women being recognized instead of being recognized as women superstars instead of divas.
Right.
Now, every man probably likes a wardrobe malfunction every now and again, but if they want raunchier content, don't make the women do it out of habit.
Right.
Don't make them do that. They work too hard for the company to recognize them as a whole.
Right.
To recognize them as actual athletes, not as centerpieces, not as pretty women, just as competitors. They even had their own pay-per-view, and that was successful from the get-go.
Right.
It was an all-women's pay-per-view. They let the men take a back seat and let them have a day off.
Yeah. And the women are just as athletic as men.
Thank
so,
you.
Let's showcase that athletic ability on the woman's side. They can, they're high flyers. They take some, high percentage risk when they in that wrestling. So,
Lead up
it
for
ain't
one,
got to
yeah.
be turned on turn to a perversion just to get no ratings. No, you let them women wrestle just like you let the men wrestle, and you let them lay it all out there on the mat and get it on in that squared circle. You ain't gotta don't pervert it. And that's what I want to see more of the women showcasing their athletic ability, their wrestling ability, where it's able to be respected, equally to the men's. So I mean, like I said, don't water it down. Let them women get out there and do their thing like they've been doing, yeah, and they can share the stage equally with the men.
And now also with another fact, this is from Forbes, where Lars Sullivan, the recent superstar, was fined $100,000 for
Whoa.
past comments made mostly between the years of 2007 and 2013, and they were just recently unearthed. It's saying the comments were resurfaced in November of last year before dying down. But the troublesome controversy entered once again when WWE veteran and New Day member Big E publicly addressed this via Twitter. Now, here's the quote that was posted by Big E. Many are aware, it's true, he has to bear the outdoors of being a big goat and working in a company that is not filled with monetaries. So basically, Big E is not happy. Another person also posted this. Big E, are you aware that this racist donkey that you're going to have to work with? Basically, someone forwarded this to him, and it was a Reddit profile that was on there, and basically it says after facing pressure from fans and the budding scandal drew attention from major sponsors by Mars Wagner, WWE issued the following statement to me via email. So this is what it says. I quote, WWE supports a culture of inclusion regardless of gender, race, religion, and sexual orientation. And we are committed to embrace all individuals as determined by the diversity of our employees, performance, and fans worldwide. Dylan Miley, a.k.a. Lars Sullivan, will be fined $100,000 and required to perform sensitivity training for offenses commentary covered from his past. WWE will also officiate meetings with Dylan with community organizations to foster further discussions around the power of social media and the impact of your words. That is the quote that was sent to the person that made this vlog, and it's understandable. They've faced this before. They re-signed Hulk Hogan after turning a blind eye to all of his, bigotry stuff like that.
Yep.
But again, they brought Hogan back.
Right. Yeah.
So either way, that's how it was.
Yeah. So I mean, they got to be mindful of what they talking about and what they be saying. They just can't be flying off the hinges, just because they feel a certain way. They got to have some tact about when they speak. And that's the reason why he got fined $100,000. I mean, come on, man. Is it really? Well, I mean, with them having the bag like how they got it, I mean, I'm pretty sure $100,000 ain't nothing to him. However, $100,000 can do a lot more in the positive than it can in the negative, if you ask me.
So true. And also another thing too, I didn't realize this until I looked on WWE's app that former NXT star DJZ officially joined WWE and is now a part of the NXT roster. He's a former Impact X Division and Tag Team Champion. Michael DJ Paris, WWE signed, was reported a few months back. Words he'd be starting at the company's Orlando Performance Center soon, beginning circulation earlier this year. The company officially announced today, March 14th, that the 32-year-old cruiserweight joined their roster. Paris, also known as Zema Ion and Zami Ion, have wrestled all over the world since debuting in the Rust Belt in the mid-August. He's worked with numerous wrestlers and producers currently employed by all levels of WWE, like Robbie E. Stratus, Sanjay Dutt, Brian Kendrick, Tony Nesa, Drake, Rockstar Spud, Maverick, Trevor Lee, and Mike Kanellis.
Mm.
And now it's funny that a majority of these guys that are on here,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Kendrick did eventually start in WWE, then went to Impact Wrestling, and now he kind of went back to the Cruiserweight division.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Nesa, he's also part of the Cruiserweight division, who will be also competing at the Money in the Bank Money in the Bank pay-per-view against Daivari.
Mm.
So that's another thing for the Cruiserweight title, I believe, or that's
Okay.
for something else.
Yeah.
And then Rockstar Spud, known as Drake Maverick, now in WWE land.
Mm-hmm.
He is now he managed the Authors of Pain. Now those two guys were scary.
Mm.
They're like big, hefty dudes that
yeah.
can move around like cruiserweight. That's scary.
Uh-huh.
And then Mike Kanellis, he is also a part of the WWE roster, but I believe right now he is at home with his wife Maria because they have a little baby girl at home.
Oh, congratulations.
Yep. They've been had that baby, but either way, it's also funny. A lot of former wrestlers either WWE lets go of some of these guys and then they go to other wrestling promotions,
Mm-hmm.
or these certain wrestlers leave their wrestling promotions behind and then they go straight to WWE because they probably know they'll get better recognition there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and you know, the greater the stage, the more recognition you get. You just got to be able to perform. So you know, like how they transition from superstar status to movie star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, it's all about your ability to be able to perform, and you know, at least be able to win. You know, no, ain't nobody gonna. You know, we can't promote losing.
Oh yeah.
You know, nobody wants to lose.
Mm-mm.
So it's all about how you bounce back if you do.
Now that's another thing I want to bring up. Now, if they have a superstar that was big in another company, for some reason WWE does this. They did this a couple times. They had Samoa Joe,
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy James Storm, Bobby Roode,
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Carter III, now known as EC3,
Mm-hmm.
and several other superstars that were already big in different companies compete in their NXT development area, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, like, why are they there? They're supposed to be up on Raw or SmackDown. Why are you sticking them with the younger guys?
Mm-hmm.
Like, these guys are seasoned veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Put them up there where the main people are. Not with the, the minnows and the guppies.
Right. I mean, and sometimes it's more so like perfecting your craft and your technique.
Mm-hmm.
Because just because you have to take a pause for the cause in order to polish your craft, don't mean that you ain't good. Now you do have to still keep the motivation in order to be able to get there. Now that is something that they have within themselves, because a lot of people they may feel like, well, yeah, I want to take it to the next level, and then they willing to do the work. And you got to be willing to do the work and then perform what you learn in order to get there, and then be able to have some bargaining chips. And then with wrestling, you have to, being a wrestler, I believe you have to have some bargaining,
Tools.
Yeah, behind you, because I mean, you have a entertainment industry with a lot of polished wrestlers, so you got to come in there with something that makes you unique. And then maybe that's why they go back to that. I'm just speculating, but I know, I mean, even with anything that you learn, you got to still continue to practice and work on it every day.
Okay. It's funny because Christopher Brown also commented on that too. What you were just saying, he said they put them in NXT so they can get accumulated to the way WWE does things in the ring.
Right.
So basically, that was in layman's terms on what you just elaborated on.
Yeah.
And I do understand that. But it's funny though. Ronda Rousey, however, went straight to the main roster without going through the NXT circuit.
Yeah, and
Which
that's
was
because
funny.
based off of where she came from. Because I mean, you look at UFC. UFC it's similar to wrestling. However, it's just different techniques. So she was already primed. She was wrestling at a higher level. Same with Brock Lesnar when he came. When he was going back and forth between the WWE and UFC. It's different techniques. However, some moves you can do in UFC you can't do in WWE.
True.
I think pretty much all the moves in WWE you can. Well, not all of them, but and
Just
then
some
some
of 'em.
moves, yeah, you can do in WWE that you can't do in UFC. So it was kind of the easy transition. And then I think it all depends on like how quick you're able to adapt those skills in those different arenas. So Brock and Ronda Rousey was perfect examples of transitioning from UFC to wrestling and then back, going back and forth. They was perfect examples of that because they had similar styles to wrestling, so they was able to use that. But then they had to be taught like, well, you can't, choke somebody out, in wrestling. You can do that in UFC, but you can't do that in wrestling. So the rules or the techniques is somewhat similar, but the rules are different.
True. Very true.
Yes.
Also, speaking of UFC and WWE transition, now you were talking about Brock and Ronda Rousey, where Brock went back and forth while Ronda basically was in the UFC, then transitioned and stayed with WWE.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny because two former WWE superstars actually moved to UFC. Jack Swagger now goes by I think Hedger now in UFC, and then CM Punk, who now goes by his real name like Phillip Brooks.
Okay.
So
yeah.
CM Punk, we know he got destroyed
Yeah.
in his first night. Oh man,
It's all right.
man,
Go back to the drawing board.
Exactly. But Jack Swagger was very successful in his first night, and the thing is, Jack Swagger probably has more like a muscular toned, square, broad shoulder, muscle built to him. So that's why he probably stood out more. Now, CM Punk, he was more of like a light heavyweight type dude.
Yeah, frail body.
Yeah, they probably put him in with a big guy, and I felt bad.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I didn't even see it, but I know he got beat up so bad.
And they put you in the ring with them big guys. If you smaller than them, you got to learn how to move. Because once them big guys get a hold of you, it's over.
And now, like, I'm looking at the picture that I have set up for our background, and now a lot of these guys are on the background. Matt Hardy is, I think he's now a singles competitor due to Jeff having knee surgery after his attack on Lars Sullivan.
Oh, okay.
Sheamus is probably let go. Actually, I think he asked for a release or something like that. So, but I'm not entirely sure on how that goes. Dolph Ziggler. The only time you see Dolph Ziggler is on the Miz's TV show on USA after SmackDown is Miz and Mrs.
Oh,
that's the only time you see him. But I don't know what they have planned for Dolph. That I'm curious about. Dean Ambrose, we know he left.
Yeah.
Because he did not renew his contract last month.
Right.
So he is no longer there. Shinsuke Nakamura, he is a mystery. We understand he can't speak English that well, but he knows how to put up a fight, though.
Yeah. So he probably took some time off for some language classes.
You don't know. He probably did.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No. I'm also going to read an interesting comment that Christopher Brown put up on here when we were mentioning Corey Graves facing off against Mark Henry in a match. Now, here it is. It says, Graves, I've had a problem with for a long time. Character or not, his treatment of Renee Young is sickening to watch. I'm waiting for the day she will pull out a bottle of pepper spray and unloads the entire thing in his face. Now, we understand that the commentators do have to play a key role. They either have to be biased or unbiased. And Graves, when it comes to Alexa Bliss and Mandy Rose, holy cow, that man fangirls so much. Thinking like, you are a grown man, and you are fangirling over your co-workers. And you're saying like, oh my gosh, I can die happy now because Alexa Bliss is here, the goddess is here. I'm thinking like, oh my god. Like, really, man? Do you have no self-control?
Right. Don't mix that business with pleasure. That's a no-no.
I know.
No.
Also, when he comments on Renee Young, I'm thinking like, man, I want to slap you, Graves, across your tough, white-haired face. Like, seriously. But either way, I'm gonna read through some of these comments. So Ralph Wells actually said, "I say Bailey wins the Money in the Bank and cashes in, winning the SmackDown belt." Ah, someone agreed with me. Yay!
Oh, that's two right there.
And then Albert, yeah, we're targeting you now, Albert Pride. He said one woman's right and we'll have a new champion. So clearly he's pulling for Lacey Evans. Oh, Albert, if we do this show next week and we prove you wrong, oh yeah, there's gonna be repercussions. We gonna chew you out, man.
Oh yeah.
And then Christopher Brown also commented on Ember Moon. He said Ember Moon is a sleeper to win that match.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
And then first time eliminated Alexa Bliss is what he commented on. Comment on that. And then let's see. So I don't know why he keeps putting Stephanie, but either way, Bailey won't get a main event level push until A, she turns heel, and B, ditches the hugger persona. I like when she does her hugger persona. She's fun that way. But I don't think I could see Bailey really. I can see her turning heel, but her ditching her hugger persona, not 100% behind that.
No.
Not at all. Not really. And then let's see what else. Ralph Wells also said, "I see Bailey as why for Vince do it out of spite to Sasha, showing Sasha if she won't sit out her contract, she has a push." Oh yeah, Sasha Banks is out because WWE's writing her out of storylines for some weird reason.
Oh wow.
Who knows why? But I'll have to dig into that later.
Yeah, she probably transitioning to Hollywood.
Who knows?
Yeah.
A lot of people suspected that she might be moving to AEW, Advanced Elite Wrestling, but that could be the thing. The thing is Jericho. Chris Jericho is there, Cody Rhodes is there, and Goldust is there, as well as Leo Rush, because no one's seen Leo Rush since, he got ditched by Lashley.
Right.
So, we don't know. Either way, AEW is creeping up on WWE in the fastest way.
Yeah, definitely.
Then let's see. Braun's being punished for something that happened at the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Henson being yanked from the Money in the Bank ladder match. Oh, are they talking about that Saturday Night Live host that eventually got involved? Hey, it's their fault that they picked a fight with a man that's like 6'3" and is very, very easily angered.
Right.
You can't help that.
You better pick your battles wisely. That's how you do that.
Albert Pride also agreed. He said, "I hate Baron Corbin. He's burying Strowman." Yes, he is. That is definitely it. Christopher Brown even predicted when we were talking about the Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe match. He's saying Samoa Joe retains, Domino shows up and betrays Rey.
Oh, wow. See, yeah, got to watch for those sleepers. That's what I'm talking about. Because the Sunday matchup, I'm looking out for the sleepers. I'm looking out for those who are in the crowd and going to come out from behind the stage and up underneath the ring. Because, you can't, you can't put nothing past nothing, especially on a night like Sunday. The Money in the Bank, you better keep your eyes peeled. Don't blink because you might miss something.
So let's see. Also, Albert Pride made several comments. He said, "I'm rooting for Ricochet. Tremendous fan favorite. Love his ring entrance. What about Aleister Black? Is he competing at Money in the Bank?" No, Aleister Black is not competing. I wish he was, but he's not.
Yeah, I feel you on that, Ricochet. Big homie, yeah. That's two.
Let's see. Kevin Owens is the master of ring brutality. He'll win Roman 2. So, well, that is true. Kevin Owens has utilized the ring apron, mostly the flat part, mostly going towards the entrance, and that's painful just seeing people go down in it.
Oh, yeah.
Ow! And let's see. Did I hear you say that you were a cancer survivor as well? Fun size. Yes, to answer your question, Albert. Yes, I am. I am a 18-year cancer-free survivor, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then it says, "I hope to God for no Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar sightings at Money in the Bank." Me too.
Stay home.
Me
Paul
too.
And Brock.
Yeah.
Y'all both stay home.
Stay in Vegas.
Yeah, just watch it from the couch.
Yeah. Well, that's Paul Heyman's happy place. As big as that man is. Yeah. And then let's move down to the newer one. So let's see. Albert Bryan says Leo crossed lines in the locker room with some of the wrestlers as it pertains to showing proper respect to some veterans. He did not want that, so now he's paying the price. Oh, so yeah, definitely he pulled a no-no.
Yeah.
And then Christopher Brown, as we were talking about Ronda, they said Ronda didn't go to NXT because WWE was hell-bent on making as much money off of her as quickly as possible.
Yes,
well,
I mean, she's a household name.
Yeah. It's understandable. Now, if Ronda does come back, we've had several huge dream matches with her. We've had Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax. Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Now, there's actually several other matches that I wanted to see with Ronda. I wanted to see Ronda versus Sasha Banks. I want to see Ronda Rousey versus Asuka.
Yeah,
I want to see that one.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the only two I want to see for right now. But until somebody else comes along, then heck yes, by all means, I want to see Ronda.
Yeah. Number one, baby.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, Albert's a 10-year cancer survivor. Oh, congrats to you, man. Yeah, definitely. Let's see.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
So let's see. Christopher Brown wrote a lot. It says, possibly noted, Triple H recently liked and then unliked a few tweets that were crucial at the current WWE product. Thus appears to have some life frustrations from Triple H and other people within WWE. A close friend of 3 WWE writers recently called to PWTorch.com's Post-Raw podcast and discussed the WWE creative process. The writers had allegedly been drinking and vented to the caller about Vince McMahon. Here is what the caller said about the criticism of WWE. And the quote is, "Thank you, Christopher Brown, for providing us with this information. No one should rip on WWE creative. They have some of the most brilliant, unbelievable, cool ideas that I've ever heard. They're writing for an audience of one, and never forget that. And if not, you're out of here." The most frustrating person in the back every single night is Triple H. He'll always take, especially the NXT guys, under his wing, and it looks like he's counseling them. It looks so much like he wants the most frustrated people in the building every single night. Man. Someone clearly had too much of that Infinity Gauntlet juice, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that libation.
Yeah. But either way, definitely, like I said, I've said this more than several occasions. I want to work for WWE as best I can, regardless if I got to be a backstage interviewer, which I probably wouldn't mind. There's a lot more action back there when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
When you think about it, oh, yeah, there's a lot of action that goes on backstage, especially when fights break out. That's the fun part.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, definitely there are a lot of, huge backstage fights, a lot of weird interactions. It's always fun. So let's see. Albert also had a question for me. This is what he said. So you would think with WWE signing a big money deal with Fox, wrestlers would want to stay with the company, but they're leaving in droves. Creative has had several people quit in the process. Fun size. Are those still serious concerns a run at the creative slot for yourself? And what do you make of the mass exodus of wrestlers from the company? So, what I make from this is that the wrestlers are leaving in droves, and for good reason, because the creative writers are probably giving them crappy, sloppy, post-it note stories that they don't want to do. And yet the whole reason why they're leaving in droves is because it's gonna make them look bad. When you think about it, these people compete in front of their friends and family, and they don't want to be on TV doing something stupid. And it's totally understandable. Nobody wants to be embarrassed in front of their family, their friends, and possibly their hometowns when they go to their certain hometowns. No one wants to be embarrassed like that. So you gotta understand, with WWE being able to sign a big deal to Fox, I feel if I wanted to go for that creative slot, by all means, I would take it. I would take it. I would make relationships with each superstar that I have to write a creative story for, listen to their opinions, and try to apply it probably in between the lines so it's not obvious to make it look like I favored them way too much.
Right.
Because creative writing is very hard, especially when you're trying to appease a 63-year-old man that wants his superstars. No, I want to do this for that person and that for that person. So you got to make it so non-clear for the boss to see it, not to see it, but for the superstar to see it and gain momentum from it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of the stars work with the sticks that they have, but others need to get bumped out of the current creative line that they're in. Take Bobby Roode, for example. Why are they trying to make him Rick Rude 2.0? Are you serious right now? He's calling him, instead of calling himself Bobby Roode, he's calling himself Robert Roode. You have got to be kidding me. If you want to make him Rick Rude so bad, why don't you dig up Bobby Heenan from the grave and let him just do hip gyrations?
Mm-hmm. And then there's only one Rick Rude.
Mm-hmm.
Only one. So with the creative, if I could just chime in with the creative writers, that's the key word to keep in mind. Creative. That means that you create. You don't duplicate or imitate what's already been done. You create it. So, I mean, if they, and that's probably why WWE did merge with Fox, to get some better creative writers, because of the creative writers that they had, they started to see, oh, well, we already did this, and you can't make this person like someone that's already established, a Hall of Famer. I mean, you can't do that. You know, that's just like having a classic movie and then you're going to try to remake a classic movie. No, you leave the classic movie a classic and you create something new.
Now, another thing, too, like, back to the classic movies. Now, some remakes actually are somewhat better than the classic, but they still do the classic justice by not changing as much. But WWE has recycled some old, storylines with recent superstars, and it worked. Now, the thing with Bobby Roode trying to be, Rick Rude or something, like, with his Robert Roode persona, that's obviously not working.
No.
It's not.
No.
It's not. But other creative stories that have worked in the past do work.
Yeah.
Now, with current WWE storylines, they're just sad. It's just sad. Because they have these older guys that have probably been with the company since maybe the 80s, 90s.
Probably.
And I understand they don't want to let them go, but you got to understand, if you want to think like a young, thirsty wrestling fan, you need people that are wrestling fans, that are trying to make your company even more money, and are young, first off.
Yeah, you transition them. You have what they call the understudy, someone you can pass the torch to. And it's not saying that, oh, well, they old and outdated. No, you're supposed to keep it fresh and then transfer the torch at the height of the career so it continues to stay fresh. You can't let it get old and stale. That's just like eating some food that you had for 4 weeks, and then you're going to go back in there talking about, it's still good. No, I don't care what kind of food it is. 4 weeks, it's stale. Start again from scratch. So, they can't allow the creativity to grow old or grow stale. Transition while it's still in the fire. That way you can just blaze the fire up even higher, make the stories more interesting. draw people into it so we can feel that. If you keep going with the same thing you had 4 weeks ago, eventually it's gonna become boring, and then you're gonna start losing a lot of fans. Now that don't mean that they not gonna enjoy the wrestlers. It's just you're gonna lose a lot of fans as far as like the overall support of the WWE. You gotta keep it fresh. You gotta keep it new. You gotta keep it exciting. So yeah, the hashing, like, some classics do work when they remade and sound better. Other classics you shouldn't just touch. You should just leave it alone.
And then Albert agreed with us, well, mostly me, when I said definitely the Ronda versus Asuka. He said definitely Ronda versus Asuka. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he said, in all fairness, WWE is trying its hardest, maybe too hard, but their fan base is laced with chronic, instainable complainers. Yes, it's human nature. We all complain. And then Christopher Brown also commented on Albert, saying, Albert, I've been a WWE fan for 30 years, and I've never been more worried for the company's history than I am right now. I agree with you 100%, Christopher. So much. And then he has a question for both of us. Albert does. He's saying, question for the two of you. Have you ever seen the documentary on the Viceland network called The Dark Side of the Ring? I have not.
No, I have not.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
Definitely will have to check that out. Also, Christopher also commented after that. My issue with the writers is that there's not enough who've actually been in a wrestling ring and know where these guys go through on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
That's the nail right there.
Yeah, that hit the nail right on the head.
That is not nailed in the coffin right there.
Yeah.
That right there. And the thing is that it's been said, wrestling has no off season.
Right.
They don't take a break at all.
No.
Nothing. They work on holidays. They work on their own birthdays. And even if they have kids, they work on their birthdays too. They got a lot going on. They travel from city to city, country to country, coast to coast. They go everywhere.
Yeah, they do.
When you're away from your family for so long, you miss a majority of their childhood growing up. Now, for wrestlers that do have kids, Mick Foley, for one, has children. Undertaker, Edge, Matt and Jeff Hardy both have children. The Miz has a child. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella have a child. Now, the thing is, they work that out because they have one parent stay home while the other brings home the bacon.
Yeah.
So, like in Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan's case, Brie stays home. She's retired from the ring for a reason, because she's watching their baby girl Birdie, while Daniel Bryan is competing on TV every week.
Right.
The Miz is doing the same thing. Maryse is a former WWE competitor, but she's watching their daughter, and also she's pregnant with the Miz's second child. So she's got to stay home.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, the Usos, they're the sons of Rikishi. I think it's either Jimmy or Jay that's got stepkids, or has kids. They're away from their families for the longest. Kofi Kingston, he's got 2 boys. His wife takes care of the kids while he's out making the money to support their families. All of these guys and girls are away from their families for so long, they don't even know, when to stop, because it's so much on them. They ache. They're bruised. They're battered. They don't want to go anywhere because they're so exhausted from their day-to-day job, because they're on the road 24/7, 365 days a year with no rest in between, because they have to get ready for the next show, literally probably the next night. So, again, that was a key point right there. That is the issue with writers. They don't know what it's like to be inside a wrestling ring. They don't know what each athlete goes through every single day. AJ Styles has, I think, 3, 4, 5 kids, and his wife is at home taking care of all of them. Shane McMahon has kids. Stephanie even has kids. Stephanie and Hunter, they have 3 daughters. And yet, the thing is, the McMahon kids are all involved in the business, from the oldest McMahon to the youngest McMahon. They're all in that business together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Triple H should know he's been in the ring before. So he knows what it's like being on the road for long hours of the day. He knows that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know that unless I was on a bus with one of the guys and going from state to state with them. Now, if I did become a creative writer, heck yes, I would jump on the bus and see what they go through, their daily regimen, their workouts, where they eat, what they do when they probably don't even have a time to breathe.
Yeah, that way they can format the creative story
Exactly.
to the wrestler.
Exactly.
Not something that they just draw up and then be like, here, this is yours. This is yours.
You're like, okay.
No, you have to develop a rapport with whom you're writing for. That way it comes off genuine and authentic.
You have
and
to
original.
know them also on a personal level and their character. Because if you don't know them on a personal level, you just know their character.
Yeah.
You have to know them with both.
Right.
If you don't, then you're just giving them a story that they're not even going to cope with.
Right. They can't relate to. They can't feel it. You know, that's just like with anything that you do. If you don't develop a relationship with it, it's gonna come off as stale and generic.
And then also Albert Pride also comments saying the night Robert Roode started calling fans fat and out of shape, he started calling women in the ring to kiss them and left them laying. He's done. And you're like, oh, man, come on. Man, they're pulling the Rick Rude card on Bobby Roode, and he was so good the way he was.
Right.
Why did they ruin Bobby?
They ruined him.
No, they ruined Bobby. And then, let's see, Christopher Pride also commented, the PG environment lasted for far too long.
Yeah.
That's why the ratings have been in a steady drop for the past half decade.
Yeah.
So much. Man, Christopher Brown, you are on a roll today.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah, the creative writers need to understand where their superstars are coming from, and also the PG rating needs to end. So badly. Sure, it worked in 2008, and it worked in 2009. We are in 2019.
Right.
WWE, get it through your heads.
Right.
We need realism here.
Exactly.
We don't need kitty frou-frou tutu wearing people. We don't need that. I'm trying to put it as calm as possible.
Right.
Because I don't want to get kicked off the air for saying something stupid. But either way, the TV-14 rating needs to come back. Okay, now the New Day thing I can work with. I can deal with the gyrating and the pancake throwing. That I can deal with. That's funny.
Yeah.
But either way, you gotta understand, WWE, that we are in a time of crisis. We just had Notre Dame burned down not too long ago. We got all this stuff going on, police brutality and all that stuff. Sure, kids can look at wrestling and go like, hey, like, there's my favorite wrestler on TV. But you got to understand, they do this to, show that it's not, like, creepy or anything. But either way, you got to bring realism to your stars. Otherwise, they're just faking a smile, and you might as well just put face paint on them and make them Doink the Clown.
Right, definitely, yeah.
Either way, that's how
just remember, it's all on the wrestling tip, like, because I used to hear this a whole bunch of times. Oh, that's phony, that's phony. No, it's technique. It is technique, okay? It's not phony, it's technique. You have to, your technique has to be polished in order for you to be able to excel, period, point blank.
So true. And then 3 more comments from our favorite 2 guys that we enjoy so much, Christopher Brown and Albert Pride.
Hey, fellas.
The person to shadow for something like that on what we just commented would be Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Now, I can see, shadowing Seth Rollins to give him a better story arc than he kind of already has now. The Beast Slayer gimmick is working for him.
Yeah.
And the burn it down thing, heck yes, I can go with that.
Yeah.
But he can be more. He can be so much more. And then Albert Pride also said the glorious screw-up of a potentially great character. Yes, he was agreeing with my rant on Bobby Roode. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
they ruined it.
Mhm.
They ruined Bobby. And then Christopher Brown also commented, just remember the Roman Reigns suffering Sasquatch line as the pinnacle of when the PG era needed to end.
Mm.
Yeah. And also, it's funny, a lot of people were giving Roman Reigns a lot of crap because you're like, boo. I feel like, they're like, come on. But then after he went through his battle through leukemia, all those haters turned into followers. But the thing is that they felt sorry for Roman, and nobody wants to see anybody go through that kind of thing.
Right.
And especially since he has a daughter at home, oh yeah, big time.
Yeah,
But
don't judge a book by its cover. Make sure you open the book up and read it.
Definitely. We are down to our final minute. Got anything to say to our audience, Dad?
Hey, just tune in tonight and tune in Sunday, and then hey, we love to hear y'all comments. I want to thank y'all for joining us. I want to thank Fun Size for having me. I'm really enjoying myself. So I may have to do this again.
All right, guys, we will see you next week. Make sure you guys check out SmackDown tonight at 8. It'll be live from the O2 in London, England. And then the Money in the Bank ladder match. The man defends her titles twice. The Beast Slater and Phenomenal One go at it. Miz and Shane McMahon inside a steel cage. The men and women Money in the Bank ladder match. U.S. title. Roman Reigns versus Elias. And so much more to come. We will see you guys next Tuesday. Stay cool, guys. And remember, you're listening to the next generation of sports talk radio. The Score there, thescore.com, The Score.